You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 216. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Barner, otherwise known as a Thing. Hey, it's a cross out there.
Okay. Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhouse. You can find our show and other neat content at theouthousers.com. And if you enjoy our show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. And if you want to be the coolest cat around, please rate and review us on iTunes. That'd be great, because that helps us reach a broader audience. Like I like to do now, I'm going to plug another show that I listen to. I think our listeners should check out as well. The Fantasticast is a podcast that's all about the Fantastic Four, and I think that's appropriate as we're going to start our look at the Fantastic Four. So it may be something they want to listen to along while we're going through our series of the FF. So,
Okay.
yeah. Well, let us begin. First we're going to talk about Fantastic Four #1 from November of 1961. The cover art is penciled by Jack Kirby and inked by George Klein. Terrific. You've seen it. But it's this terrific illustration of a monster bursting out of a city street. Fantastic Four in battle with it. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Very Kirby-esque monster.
Well, of course it's Kirby-esque. Kirby drew it.
Yeah, no, but it's...
Esque means like.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But it's super Kirby-esque. It's even more Kirby-esque than usual.
It is.
The way he does mouths is really...
Oh, especially on monsters.
Yeah. It's incredible.
It is Kirby to a T, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or penultimate Kirby.
Penultimate means second to last.
Does it?
I used to think it was most ultimate.
I did too.
Yeah. Penultimate means second to last.
Oh, well, then it's not. It's even ultimate. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So, before we start to talk about the stories in this issue, here's a famous story about how the Fantastic Four as a comic book came to be. You, of course, recall, Jack Leibowitz, the publisher of DC Comics, as legend would have it, was golf buddies with Martin Goodman, who was the publisher of Atlas, which was becoming Marvel at this time. And at their golf game, Leibowitz was bragging about the success of the Justice League of America.
Mm-hmm. So
Monday morning rolls around, and Martin Goodman tells his editor, Stan Lee, we want a group of superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something like that, but not like it. And so the Fantastic Four was born.
Yeah. I've heard that's also not true, but some people said, but still, it's too good to check, though.
Right. I mean, it couldn't be apocryphal, but it's a great story.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'll also note that the Fantastic Four was really prototyped a few years earlier as the Challenges of the Unknown for DC. Jack Kirby and Wally Wood did create that series.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of similar elements. I wish we could be doing them in parallel to really look at those out. But we will look at the Challengers in the future.
This is also, from what I understand, is the first time they used a Marvel method of writing comics. It used to be the DC method was scripting it out.
Oh, full script, and you give that to your artist.
Now it's just a summary, a little plot line, half a page or a page, and then the artist
goes nuts, does their thing, and then the writer will go back and, for instance, Stan Lee will come over and punch up the dialogue and things. Right. And it worked really well. It gave artists a lot of freedom in storytelling.
There's a lot of there are some problems with it, but I think it's really great. But one, it gives a lot of work to the artist. Two, the artist may not be good at plotting. But thankfully, Jack Kirby is great at everything.
Yeah, a masterful storyteller, and that method works terrific with Kirby. So, Marvel Comics couldn't have happened without Jack Kirby.
Right. So. Or it wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Yeah. So. It'd be another Fawcett or something very unknown group without.
It would be a footnote in comics history. I mean, can you imagine comics without Marvel? If DC had just remained the top of the heap for years, I think the industry would have stagnated without the kind of back and forth between Marvel.
Yeah. Monopolies generally fail. So
at some point, as far as qualitatively speaking.
as physically speaking. It's got to be either put in by the government, like your power company,
Yeah.
or just fails because someone finds another way around it.
Okay.
Okay.
But let's begin. The lead story, of course, is The Fantastic Four, written by Stan Lee, asterisk, because you always have to... I think things that they say they're written by Stan Lee, it's kind of a dubious distinction, but we'll give credit where as it is accepted or written, okay? Mm-hmm. Penciled by Jack Kirby and inked by George Klein. One other thing I want to note before we get really going in the story is, for years, people debated, and there was a mystery about who inked the first issue of the Fantastic Four. But many comics historians have now arrived at the conclusion that it was George Klein, who also inked several of the other early issues. And George, of course, is most famous for being Kurt Swan's inker on Superman in the Silver Age. And that's just the golden Superman team for me. Yeah. Artistically speaking. So.
Yeah. That's very well done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I was amused. The title panel has a Fantastic Four
in skywriting.
Wow, that's really hard to do. Then it shrinks to a 4. That we all
the number
know.
4.
Yeah. Okay, we see the Fantastic Four as they are fantastic now, and they are going about their business. And then they see the 4, then they disappear. Sue disappears and freaks people out. Ben causes a tremendous amount of damage.
One thing is, Ben is wearing a big overcoat and hat and disguising himself. He's in a men's clothing store, and they tell him, we don't have clothes your size. He sees the signal and goes through the doorway and busts out like, they make these doors, too small. How did he get in there in the first place?
I guess sideways.
Okay.
The thing is, actually, on the front, we don't see the face, and we don't see him on the cover as well.
No,
we see what it looks like.
We see him from behind on the cover. It'll be a reveal later, and I like that. And I like how our introduction to the Fantastic Four is, it seems like a monster book.
Yeah.
And which is typical of what Marvel was doing at the time, Atlas. They weren't doing superheroes. They had all the Journey into Mystery and Tales of Suspense, and these were just monster books. And the Fantastic Four as a superhero group, you look at these first couple issues, and it's really a monster book.
Yeah, and has plenty of monsters, and a monster as a hero.
Yeah.
And, and he has real problems with that, which is one of the great things about Fantastic Four. And maybe the best at the time. And a lot of people will say it's the best comic. And it's really the most adult one.
Well, and it's interesting because these are not... this Justice League were the get-along gang, okay?
Yeah.
Everything was all smiles and hunky-dory and never had an argument. Well, the Fantastic Four can't, decide which way to turn or what street to go down without having a fight.
Yeah. I hate to see them order a pizza.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite example of why anarchy would not work.
Right.
You ever gotten 4 guys who are the same level in the friendship ordering a pizza? It's just madness. Or going what movie to see? It's just
sure.
Now we see Ben has a great intro. He's bashing through the door, and it's really cool looking.
Yeah.
As you were saying, in DC, they're really friendly and nice. I think Fantastic Four goes the other way too much. There's Ben Grimm is this sad sack all the time. I'm a monster, blah, 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 blah. And I understand that, but they should have eased it down a bit. And
I think the dynamic, we always talk about the fighting, arguing. But one of the great things about the Fantastic Four, and it's different from, say, the Justice League, is that they became a family. And it's really about that, these characters growing together in their adventures. So, and families have arguments too.
Yeah, I like that, but I think they just overdo it a little bit. But
sure.
I'm not... Fantastic Four is fantastic, and I like it, but it's not flawless. But
so what's Johnny Storm doing now?
Johnny is working on a car, and he did it a lot. I don't know if he did it later on, but for
it seems at least in the 60s he's doing a lot of working on hot rods. They're trying to make him a typical teenager of the time.
And that's what teenagers did. you can't do that now. At least with newer cars, there's no shade tree mechanics anymore because you can't. You have to have a computer to work on cars.
Right. Well, it's a different time.
Yeah, indeed. Which is what's kind of cool reading about these two. So we have Johnny sees a four and he melts the car. Again, he's working on.
That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's like for whoever owns it.
Yeah. He
But
goes
it's
up
great.
and they people are freaking out, so they call in the Air Force. Air Force shoots a missile at Johnny.
They say it's a nuclear missile.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Which is weird.
yeah. Here we are. Ben Grimm is back in the scene, and he's wearing a coat again and hiding his face.
That's weird.
I think he was wanting to show what he looked like afterwards or something like that, and have a big reveal, but they already
Right.
have revealed.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of things like there's a scene of Reed stretching here and stuff too, but and helping Johnny escape from the missile. But when they all get convened together, yeah, Ben's got the overcoat again, and it's like what? So there are little continuity issues like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's fine. Now we get the origin story, and
Okay.
I would love to have me some cosmic rays. Okay, we get the famous origin story of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Reed, their leader, is the smartest guy in the world,
Yeah.
and he's built a rocket ship to beat the commies to space.
That's yeah. Yeah. And he's got to convince Ben to fly the thing, and Sue Storm calls him a coward, and that makes him fly. And all right, I'll fly the dang thing.
Yeah, and then her brother just comes along because reasons.
Yeah. That's the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
And then they sneak on to the missile base.
Which I thought is weird. It's like, it didn't Reed fund and build the thing? Why are there guards that they have to sneak past?
Yeah. And why they got to do it now? Or why don't they have a party and then, hey, we're going up in outer space? What's the secrecy?
Yeah, it's weird.
No time to wait for official clearance. Conditions are right tonight. Let's go. Well, these
Okay.
people do not know. Well, this is before space travel became boring and monotonous.
Well, yeah, this is 1960. We had not gone to the moon. In fact, we'd barely gotten to outer space at this time, or this is 61.
Mhm.
You know, men into space was super new,
Yeah.
or barely about to happen.
So, yeah. They didn't think it's going to be that scientific, I guess. It's going to be more like a lark or something like that.
Sure.
And that's how people did it before. I mean, people go, hey, let's get a ship and let's go sailing and find Shangri-La or whatever. And that's how it happened. But
Sure.
space travel is super complex. You're not going to be able to do it that way.
Well, right. I think once we realize like the science of like what it's like out there,
Mhm.
you can't just get into a rocket and go out into outer space. I mean,
Yeah. Hopefully
maybe.
someday, maybe, but not now.
Right.
It is interesting that Ben Grimm is worried about cosmic rays, and Reed isn't. He's,
Yeah, like Ben seems like kind of a roughneck. He's just like an air pilot.
yeah.
Like, how is he even gonna know about that stuff? He doesn't seem like all know-y on the science stuff. And Reed ought to be.
Yeah. Although pilots, I mean, a lot of them have this folksy, rough exterior, but there's a lot of training. If you ever looked into a jet fighter, the controls are extremely complicated. I mean, there's hundreds of little dials you have to look at.
Sure. And then imagine what it'd be in a spaceship. Even more.
Even worse. Although it may have been simpler for the first astronauts because they weren't given much to do, which really ticked them off. Because,
Oh yeah, they're more passengers than anything.
yeah, great book, The Right Stuff, and a good movie too. So check it out.
Okay.
Very entertaining. So Ben Grimm is worried about the cosmic rays, and he's right. They zap them, and then they land back on Earth, and they feel weird, and then Sue disappears. Let's see.
And then
turns invisible.
becomes visible again.
Right.
Ben starts getting all pissed off, and then he like Reed, you jerk face, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts turning into a monster. He grabs a tree, he swings it at Reed, and Reed stretches out of the way.
Yep.
So they realize they're changed. Johnny's freaking out, and he bursts into flames and flies away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Sue calls, what kind of thing are you turning into, Ben? And he says, well, I call myself the Thing. It's not a bad name.
No, it'll work. It's so funny because Reed chooses the name Mr. Fantastic.
I know.
Which he's such a square. It's such an ostentatious name to choose.
Yeah. It's sort of. Yeah. How to call himself? I don't know. Stretch or.
Well, that's what Ben will call him, Stretcho.
Yeah.
Later, but yeah, then they decide. Okay, well, I guess we got powers and stuff. So, like in 5 minutes, they decide. Well, I guess we'll use this for help mankind.
Yeah.
Even though they'd probably freak out and go their separate ways, right off, and they'd have misadventure, and then maybe come back together. You know what I mean? If it really happened in real life.
Yeah, but you want to make sure. I guess they want people to know this is going to be a crime-fighting team, and so and yeah, it cuts to the chase. Actually, I wouldn't. I'm not sure if I'd enjoy those.
If they spent the rest of the issue going off and that we don't get that till the very end, you might not pick up the next issue.
Right.
But because we go immediately into our backup, which is their first real adventure, and then we're going to talk about that. It's called The Fantastic Four Meet the Mole Man. And this was written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, and inked by George Klein. So Reed has got some intel about monsters or something busting up nuclear power plants, destroying them.
No, or stealing them.
Yeah.
And which is kind of cool. That's what and they're doing all of the world. And Reed picks this island, Monster Isle. I like to buy an island and call it Monster Isle just for the hell of it.
Right.
I think that'd be great.
So they figure because it all triangulates from that position.
Yeah.
And so they realize.
Yeah, although it still doesn't make sense, but yeah, it's a comic book.
It is. And if you're like, that doesn't make sense at all, what's the logic here? You're gonna struggle with these, man.
Exactly.
But
how is he stretching? How is he catching on fire and flying?
Yeah. So anyway, they do go to Monster. Although Ben is like, that place is only a myth. What a little malarkey. What? But they go there and it's real.
Yeah, being an orange rock monster, telling the guy who stretches, "Oh, that can't happen."
Right?
Yeah, I'd be like, I believe it. So, I don't believe in any of that stuff and monsters. I don't believe in Sasquatch, although it's a big deal here in the Northwest.
Kind of.
I don't believe in ghosts and.
No, it's all
Nessie.
bull crap. But it's fun bull crap. But it's stuff you wish was real.
Oh God, yeah. I would like there to be Illuminati in controlling it. I think that'd be cool. Although it'd be evil, but hey, it'd make the world sound more
exciting or whatever.
Exciting and knowable. No, this bad thing happened. Some evil organizations out there like Doctor Doom or Illuminati, or the Bilderbergers or something, and that makes sense. Just instead of just dumb luck and stuff, I'll never know why.
I see, and it makes the world of comic books so much fun. Oh man, the world of superheroes and super villains.
Yeah.
How cool, and monsters too.
Yeah, and as long as you didn't live in Metropolis and New York City, it'd be mostly okay.
Right.
Ooh, a Portland superhero. I wonder if there is any. We're from Portland, or we're speaking in Portland right now.
Yes, Oregon. Comic Reflections is recorded at the Warner Pacific Library in Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
Warner Pacific College. So. But anyway, they go to Monster Island.
Right. And they meet a Hydra, although they don't call it that. That's another Kirby
It's this three-headed monster, but yeah, it's rad.
Mm-hmm.
And Reed throws it into the ocean. How? It's huge. He doesn't have super strength. But he wraps his arms around its neck and swings it.
I think he's maybe tripping him, maybe.
Oh, okay.
But why? Oh, is the monster a witch and they can get wet and something?
Yeah, it's strange. But it's funny, they fall through a hole in the ground, and Reed turns into a parachute and catches Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Did Johnny forget that he can fly?
Yeah. Although, yeah. Okay.
So, but anyway, they're separated from Sue and Ben, who will show up out of nowhere later.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And they fall down tremendous height, and then they're blinded, and then they wake up and they're in these suits with visors on them.
Yeah.
And
they meet the Mole Man.
Yeah, in the Valley of the Diamond. I do love how the Mole Man looks.
He's cool. He's got these cool shades. He's got, and also, yeah, there's would you say there was a Valley of Diamonds? And for somehow that is a source of light in the caverns of the underworld.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You still need a light source for that to refract. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're being scientific again.
Oh, dang me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Ben comes. He made his trip with his coat and hat on, and I think he's wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
You're on a mission. It doesn't matter. You're going to Monster Isle. You're not going to.
You're gonna blend right
the
in.
Russian tea room.
Right.
So he takes off his clothes, kind of quiet. All right, I'm ready to fight.
Yeah.
And so he fights another rock monster who's messing with Sue.
Yeah. But the other rock monster is not as good as Ben, and so Ben beats him up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so while they're looking to find their way down to the cavern, Johnny and Reed hear the origin of the Mole Man.
Yeah, the Mole Man's kind of like the Penguin of Marvel Comics, I think.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, short, fat. I mean, he's kind of ridiculous, but kind of dangerous at the same time.
I think he's a lot cooler than the Penguin. The Penguin has trick umbrellas, and he's kind of a little guy who's a mob boss. The Mole Man is a little guy, and he's got an army of monsters.
Oh, yeah.
That's super rad. And he's got a popped collar. And he's got one of those big high collars. It's cool by me.
Okay. Yeah. I think that I don't know. I think it's kind of the same thing. He's not scary.
Yeah.
But
he was goofy looking, and so he was an outcast in society.
Yeah, you know, an ugly short kid rejected by girls and prospective employers, and he starts a comic book podcast. Oh wait, that's me. So yeah, and everyone was a kid and a new kid or not popular or something like that, except for the popular kids. I don't know. Did popular kids read comics? I don't know. Or is it?
I think later it became the thing of nerds. But I think in the 60s, at least, there's a time at a certain age where it's still the coolest thing. And it's not a like nerd, you know. So, but you know, being goofy looking and a social outcast, that isn't about being a comic book reader. That's just like bad genes, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so the Mole Man is dejected, so he goes searching for the center of the earth, and he finds it, gets blinded.
He loses most of his sight. Yeah. He wears the cool shades that help him to kind of like filter light, and he's cool. Mm-hmm. And he's got like he's got a stick that he fights with that he mastered, and he learned to he managed to carve out this underworld empire for himself, and control these monsters, which is neat.
Yeah.
But it's not like he has a power to control them. They just do what he says. It's weird.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know. Oh, well.
I mean, why do they obey him? What does he bring to the table? You ever wonder about that?
I don't know. Maybe he has a charming personality. Who knows? He gets in a stick fight with Reed and kicks his butt.
Yeah, I guess because Reed and Johnny are in these suits, they can't stretch or flame on.
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Huh. But, okay, so he's monologuing, and all of a sudden...
because what's his monologue? He's just going to destroy all these nuclear power plants, and then come to the surface with his army of monsters and destroy and take over everything.
Yeah, I'm like, Yeah, they didn't have coal back then. I don't know. I didn't really understand the thing.
It's the atomic age, man.
Yeah.
So like that is supposed to be big world threat.
Well, I mean, it would be, and Japan and Europe would be really messed up if that happened.
Yeah.
United States less so.
But I think in this time, Japan and Europe were like a bigger deal. We actually care what happens there, in 1960.
Yeah. Oh, they do. He does mess up a French reactor in Africa. So,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which I thought was odd. And okay, so the Thing and Sue find them in the center of the Earth. The Thing put on his coat, walked down the center of the Earth, and now he's taking it back off. And well, maybe they're saying he's ashamed of his. He's so ashamed that he doesn't want to have anybody see him unless he's fighting.
It's weird, or it's just like, yeah, why do you keep putting it back on? Plus, why would you wear a coat to go in the center of the Earth? It's gonna be hot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seems kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Mole Man, the Thing shows up and he's gonna attack the Mole Man. Mole Man rings his bell, and then all the monsters come loose.
Yep. And there's a huge fight, and it's pretty dang cool.
Yeah. So Johnny figures out he can finally burn through the suit he's wearing. They escape.
Yeah. And these
They think the Mole Man was buried under there. Johnny burns a tunnel for them to escape through.
well, yeah.
While the place collapses.
But where is the moment? I left him behind. He'll never trouble anyone again. They never learn, do they?
Not until he comes back in issue 17 or so, 27, something like that. But spoilers. But yeah, it's kind of like they didn't do much, did they?
No. It was a nice little fight, but the fight just was over in a blink. So
Yeah, but it's still cool, and we're introduced to the Fantastic Four. What a neat and crazy different comic book.
yeah,
Especially for the time.
right. And be different today, for that matter. So.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about issue number 2. This is from January of 1962, and the cover was penciled by Jack Kirby and inked by George Klein. And the story in this issue is called "The Fantastic Four Meet the Skrulls from Outer Space," written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, and inked by George Klein. Let's take a look at this cover for a sec.
Mm-hmm.
We see, the Fantastic Four in a room
Yes.
in battle with the Skrulls.
Right.
Johnny looks like he's subdued. Ben is punching and throwing Skrulls. Reed's reaching over Sue, who is just standing there invisible.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird cover.
Yeah, I thought so too. I came from my.
It's not. It has dynamism, but it's like I wouldn't have chosen this image.
Yeah, they're fighting in a house. Oh my God.
Yeah, that seems kind of pedestrian.
Although that's where they do it, I guess. So yeah. Well, I guess maybe it's these fantastic elements in a non-fantastic setting.
But also, again, these first couple issues, it's like they're really like, yeah, it's a superhero thing, but it's really kind of a monster book. It's another alien invasion, and every other Marvel comic at the time is aliens and monsters, invading from other dimensions or space or forgotten lands. So yeah. So we start out the splash panel. We've got looks like Ben is swimming toward like an oil rig and then sinks the thing.
Oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
And
Sue goes to a jewelry store
and steals a big jewel.
Yeah, turns invisible and bails. Johnny melts some groovy statue about probably some Confederate soldier. So good, not groovy. But...
It's probably, I think they're up north. So
yeah, you're right. And Reed turns out the lights in New York City. He just causes a blackout. He just reaches into the room where the power is and flips the switch. It's a blackout.
Yeah, but then all you gotta do to fix it is flick the switch again.
Ooh, I know, what a terrible menace. But yeah. And so everyone thinks like, what's up with the Fantastic Four? They're super evil now. And this Fantastic Four convene and they realize and they tell each other, or reveal to us, they're not the FF at all. They were imposters. They are the Skrulls from outer space, and they just found ways to simulate their powers.
this is a great plan.
Yeah,
If you want to get rid of the Fantastic Four and make them everyone's enemies.
discredit them.
Yeah, and this is really very, very good.
Yeah, only thing is like it's their second adventure. They're not like they would be super world famous already. You know?
Oh, they'd be world famous. I mean, if that happened today, and people turn to the Fantastic Four, then there'd be instantly headlines.
Okay.
We wouldn't be talking about anything else.
All right. I just feel like this story would make more sense like 12 issues in.
I agree. Oh, how the Skrull's going to know about it? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like when news travels that fast to the Skrull throne world, that's a long ways away.
Yeah, yeah. And so a lot of times, like movies do the same thing.
Oh, but wait, if they had like spies on Earth already, they'd know about the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. But you would think that we don't know what kind of reputation the Fantastic Four has with the rest of the world.
That's true.
We haven't seen a regular person.
And I guess
talk
reading
about
this comic, you're like, wow, they must be a big deal everywhere. You know what I mean? So I guess maybe it's working on that level. But as convenience would have it, the entire Fantastic Four are on vacation in a hunting lodge or something, or in a cabin in the woods. So they're all together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the army attacks them.
Yeah. Ben is dressed up in his coat again, and he throws a bear's head through the window.
A mounted bear head. Because he's mad.
Mm-hmm.
He's like George C. Scott. He's mad as hell, and he ain't going to take it anymore.
All right. Oh, that's somebody else.
It's not George C. Scott?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I used another name, but
Sorry.
That's a network.
Oh, I'm wrong. That happens to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
The movie network?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Good movie, too. Oh, okay. So, the army attacks. And I never did anything cool like this in the army. So,
Attacking the Fantastic Four?
Yeah. All I did was clean up an oil spill. And,
So they're captured and put into special cells to keep them from escaping.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny is in a cell lined with asbestos, so he can't burn out, and it's airtight, so he can't flame on.
Well, it's not exactly airtight. I would just die.
Well, right, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Sue is, in a room, and she can't. What she do? Turn invisible. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Ben is in a room that's like lined with like a foot thick of steel or something, and so
Battleship Steel.
he's trying real hard to get through. And Reed is in a room trying to like find any pinhole or something that he can try and squeeze out of.
And they get up. So,
Reed squeezes through a tiny rivet hole.
A rivet was loose, and he loosened it. And man, I guess he can get really small. So I didn't know.
To me, that's like Plastic Man. It's a bit silly and cartoony,
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, they got to do something.
You don't see him do stuff like that so much later.
Yeah.
But
the Invisible Girl just turns invisible and walks out.
oh yeah.
I like that. Let's see. Johnny finds the air vent, and he opens up everything, and he gets out. And of course, Ben just hammers his way through.
Yeah. So they escape, and so they're like, okay, well, we've got to clear our names. So Johnny gets the bright idea. I'm gonna go and commit some sabotage and flush out the imposters.
Yeah, because I guess that makes sense. And they do something, and he doesn't do really bad damage. He destroys an unused rocket thing, whatever you call it.
It's still a lot of property damage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But so then the imposters think that it's him, not their guy, or that it's not the real Johnny, but it's their guy.
Yeah.
And so the Skrulls, he goes back to the Skrull base, or where they're hiding out, and he reveals, they figure out that he's the real Johnny Storm. And so he goes to the window and shoots his flare gun out for the Fantastic Four. So they didn't frisk him or anything.
Oh, they didn't know they thought it was his guy.
Right, okay.
They thought he was a Skrull Johnny.
Yeah, so then the FF shows up, and they kick the crap out of the Skrulls.
Right, mm-hmm. Yeah, the Invisible Girl trips somebody. So,
of course.
Yeah. It is a lame. It's lame for an 12-year-old boy, it'd be pretty damn cool. But for fighting crime, I mean, it's useful, but yeah. Everyone wants to be smart like Reed, and
I mean, being invisible would be great if you're committing crimes. You could just sneak into places, steal stuff, be a great spy. But as an offensive, like you're in a group of superheroes or whatever, it's kind of like, okay, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you mean to spy for them when he does that.
I mean, and later Sue develops her force fields, and she's able to do, make things out of invisible stuff.
Right.
So that becomes more useful. She's actually really, if you think about it, the most powerful member of the team at that point.
Yeah,
So,
the thing is cool. He even gets a girlfriend. Makes me feel bad. I didn't get a girlfriend, and I wasn't that ugly. So,
but she was a blind chick.
Still, she was good looking.
She was a real good looking girl. I wonder if Alicia ever met Daredevil or Matt Murdock.
Ooh, interesting.
Well, because I know Daredevil has met the Fantastic Four. I'm sure they've at least crossed paths. So
let's see, the stretching. I don't know. It'd be cool, especially if you're working in a supermarket or something.
But I mean, stretching. It is not anywhere close to the list of on my list of powers I would want.
Yeah, there's at least 2 superheroes with that power.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh, there's a bunch. There's Plastic Man. There's the Elongated Man. There's
It's the same, and Jimmy Olsen's.
Jimmy Olsen, the Elastic Lad.
Yeah.
And then there's E-Man from Charlton Comics, who is shape-shifting abilities, but he also stretches too. So,
well, somebody must find it interesting.
I mean, visually in a comic book, it's a cool power. I'm just saying, in real life, I wouldn't want that to be my superpower.
No, actually, flaming on is kind of cool, but it's not a universal thing to do. But it's sort of
having like super strength or invulnerability or being able to fly. Those are cool powers. Turning invisible is a cool power. Reading minds. Those are good powers.
Turning invisible, the best job for you would be a gossip columnist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could get you could get all kinds of stuff that way.
Yeah.
And spy would be great, too.
Yeah.
Superhero.
You'd be an excellent extortionist.
Oh, yeah.
But that'd be criminal. So, but anyway, they fight the Skrulls, and they're wimps. I mean, they can shapeshift, but they're not tough.
No.
And they're like begging for their lives. Please don't kill us.
All right.
And, because they really think Ben could, and he probably could. So what is Reed hatches a plan?
Yeah. They're going to pretend they're going to go in disguise as the Skrulls in disguise as themselves.
Yeah. So they're going to go up to the Skrull mothership floating above Earth. And they show the Skrull leader or whatever pictures clipped from Marvel Comics of monsters.
That wouldn't scare a 7-year-old.
Well, but it's a comic book.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's absurd. I mean, it's
well, and here's where this plot falls apart, and I'll give that in a second. You're like, oh man, these are some of our crazy warriors, and they're like, oh man, we could never conquer the Earth, so they decide to bail. But haven't these guys been spying and sending reports? They haven't said anything about stuff like that.
Oh,
clearly.
Maybe it's it could be secret stuff, and they just, hey, we just found this out.
Oh, okay.
So that makes kind of sense, but they're comic strips. I mean, if they had written a sketch
if you're an intergalactic traveling, spacefaring race, and somebody shows you a picture from a comic book, you're like, okay, this is a drawing. Like, duh, But anyway, the Fantastic Four, they're like, hey, but we need to stay back on Earth and make sure that we cover our tracks. And so they're awarded for being such brave Skrulls or whatever. And then the mothership goes back to the Skrull homeworld. So the FF land back on Earth, and they hypnotize the Skrulls into thinking they're cows, because the Skrulls they can't go to jail.
They want to be contented.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more contented than a cow, I guess.
Yeah. So, one other thing, as they're coming back to Earth, Ben temporarily changes back to Ben Grimm.
Right.
and then right back to the thing. And we should have a running tally of how much this happens, because it does happen quite a bit.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go back to the apartment with the scrolls, and the scrolls attack them, and then they get their butts kicked
Again.
And, yeah. And
then they do the hypnotism.
Mm-hmm.
But that's super classic.
Yeah. Okay. Turning into cows that's going to be mentioned decades later in the Kree Skrull War.
Well, yes, that's
And
correct.
I was super excited to read it, and I was kind of, there's not much war in it, but I mean, it's not bad and something, but I wanted a good war, intergalactic battle stuff, and
Right.
it wasn't that. And,
If there was an ongoing series that was just all about that war,
Mhm.
because it was a war that raged for millennia, it'd be good. And the storyline is kind of a misnomer, because it's really just when the Avengers and the Fantastic Four get involved in the Kree Skrull War.
Mhm.
So there's a pinup of the thing
Yeah.
as kind of a bonus thing, and this is drawn by Kirby and Klein.
Yeah, he's more,
Dinosaur hide looking. It's not Rocky yet.
yeah. I like the later rendition of him than this one. It's
Yeah.
still kind of cool, though.
And he's just so ugly, but later he gets to be kind of lovable looking,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that. But let's talk about Fantastic Four #3, which is cover dated March of 1962. The cover art's penciled by Jack Kirby and inked by Saul Brodsky. And the story in this issue is called The Menace of the Miracle Man, written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, and inked by Saul Brodsky.
All right, the Fantastic Four is watching the Miracle Man. He's doing all this magic and all this.
Yeah, he looks like a stage magician.
Yep.
Because he is, kind of.
No, he is. with the power. Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
And he shows how great he is, and then he said, "Oh, here's Fantastic Four, and I'm better than you." Ha ha ha! And that really makes Ben angry. So Ben comes up and
The Miracle Man has this set of 2 big logs on stage,
Mhm.
and says, "Hey, thing, why don't you smash this log? Demonstrate it." And Ben, hits it, and it takes him a lot of effort to break. And then the Miracle Man slices in half with his finger, like it was nothing.
Mhm.
Then Ben gets all pissed and pastes him one in the face, and he takes the hit punch like it was nothing.
All right.
And so everybody's like, "Whoa, this guy's pretty intense," or whatever.
Yeah. We see the Fantastic Car for the first time.
That's right.
The flying soap
Bathtub.
bathtub. Yeah.
I love the Fantastic Car.
I don't, but okay.
Well, you don't love America.
I guess not.
I'm
It looks
kidding.
like a soap dish or something.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So the Miracle Man is plotting evil stuff, and we get a cool Fantastic Four heading back to the headquarters, which is we see this for the first time, and we get a great cutaway of all the stuff.
Yeah, the 8-year-old boy in me loves this. So
Yeah.
I barely remember ever the Pogo orbit plane, the Fantastic Copter.
I don't remember the Fantastic Copter. Oh, the Pogo plane. We'll see.
I think it's
Plenty.
used in the next thing.
Yeah.
In the next issue, and actually the long range passenger missile. That's, I don't know, but it's really really cool.
Yeah. And this is the first time we see the Baxter Building, but it's not called that yet. It's not referred to that at all.
Yeah, they supposedly. I think we learned they own it now.
Right, but the developments will
Yeah, something will happen.
Yeah. So anyway, what's going on? There's a movie premiere with the Monster from Mars. And this great Kirby monster as a display.
I was wondering. I bet Kirby thought of this stuff. So,
of course he did.
Yeah, he did like doing monsters, right? It wasn't like, oh God, not another monster. But
he was so good at it. I mean, how could he can you imagine? Like, oh, what a drag.
I don't know. Conan Doyle hated doing Sherlock Holmes after a while, and he was so good at that. And a lot of people get famous for something they hate doing it.
Look, here's the thing. Jack Kirby could have been a clerk or something somewhere if he didn't like drawing. Right. And if you like to draw, monsters are fun.
Yeah.
So.
And it is awesome.
And you can just go crazy with that. There are no rules.
Right.
So.
Except they got to wear pants.
Well, that's a thing.
That's about it. All right. So the Miracle Man gets this great idea that he's going to turn this statue a monster into a monster, and it works.
He brings it to life.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on a rampage, and of course the Fantastic Four are called in to help them out. So they get in the Fantastic car, and they each have it can break off into sections, and they scour the city looking for the Miracle Man and the monster.
Yeah, Miracle Man knocks out Mr. Fantastic with a brick. It's just sort of got this, I don't know, it was a 5-story monster, and he uses a brick. Yeah, we see the Fantastic car separate, which is.
I think I mentioned that.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I mean, it's a cool thing. I mean,
it's so neat, and I love the railings that they have on them, and then they each have their own like control panel they can pilot it.
Yeah, like
that's fun.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the monster escapes and disappears. Oh, what does he do?
By the way, the Fantastic Four, they've got their costumes now.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Mm-hmm. And I'll always love their costume. I think that's pretty damn good.
And I love it. It's a uniform.
Yeah.
This is another thing that harkens back to the Challenges of the Unknown. They had 4 of them had the same costume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not a bad costume either. I think it's good.
No. Although Ben decides to dispense with his. He's got like an iron mask, and he likes to get a full body costume. He doesn't like it at all.
He was trying to, I think Sue made them.
Yeah.
But and he's been trying to hide his face, so she was trying to help him out.
But she's like, I'm not going to wear that damn fool outfit. You know, that's what he says. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say damn fool, but
yeah. Yeah, he uses an F-bomb. No.
Yeah.
He still. The first thing the monster steals is majority stores, and man, they really start small there.
Yeah.
That's how you're gonna take over the world. Oh, and the guy, Mr. Miracle, or
the Miracle Man,
he sends a letter to the police station saying he's going to conquer the world. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
If you're out to conquer the world, don't you think like robbing jewelry stores is kind of like
and telling everybody you're going to do it? You know, sort of, just do it.
Yeah. There are problems.
Yeah. Then he steals an atomic tank. And now we're
now what is it? Is it powered, atomic powered, or is it the payload is atomic? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
I mean, but it sounds cool. Atomic tank. That sounds like a big deal.
They were going to make an atomic powered. They were going to make an atomic powered bomber, but planes crash, and they thought, that's not a good idea. But it would fly forever, almost. So.
Sure. I mean, you made an atomic powered tank. Yeah, it would probably kick all kinds of ass, but until somebody blows it up, and then you have a radioactive problem.
Yeah, or a monster steals it.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Right.
You have to call them the Fantastic Four, and they don't exist.
Oh, they don't? Damn it.
I know.
I've been fooled all this time. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Johnny burns the monster. It's wood.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a wooden plaster thing,
yeah.
And he just burns it, and so it burns up, and then the army and the FF are in this battle with the Miracle Man,
and Miracle Man wins. Sue does what she should do best, and follows Miracle Man.
Yeah, I like that. She tails him.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
She's thinking very well, and the Fantastic Four go back to their place, and Johnny takes a shower.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Then we get the origin story. It was just last issue.
Well, 2 issues ago, but yeah, they recap it in part. Yeah, again.
Yeah. So.
In the days of the newsstand, you weren't guaranteed you were going to be able to find every issue.
Right.
At each month, the distribution was kind of spotty. So especially Marvel Comics, how we get little vignettes that recap the origins or what happened previously, it's to kind of bridge those gaps that you're gonna have, even as an avid comic book reader.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That makes sense. And you forget it's a totally different world.
Yeah.
They can't go on the internet and see what happened.
There's no. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, my father used to buy comic books.
Yeah.
And he would trade one new comic book for 2 or 3 old ones, and that's how he got a huge collection. Then he went to World War II, and his uncle threw them away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I know, because wouldn't you have loved to have gotten to read those?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're probably worth a good sum of money too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Took his car too. So
Oh man,
yeah.
that was his uncle did that.
No, his brother. His brother.
Oh.
My Uncle Bax. So.
Oh. Thanks a lot, Uncle Bax.
Had an Uncle T and an Uncle Duck. So,
Right.
So Uncle Duck's real name was Eustace. So you understand?
Eustace.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know what
People used to have goofy names like that.
Yeah, they did. Now they had goofier names. At least I think Eustace is probably in the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So, the Fantastic Four minus Sue are getting ready, and they get into a fight
With each other.
Yeah. So, the Miracle Man does a really intelligent thing. He has a dog, and the dog smells Sue. Has Doctor Doom read this issue? I mean, what an ingenious way to stop him! It's so easy. Most people have dogs; they're not that hard to get. You know?
Right.
And the dog will smell an invisible person.
Yeah, that would be your big problem if that was your power. Like, oh crap, what if there are dogs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If there are cats, you wouldn't have to care because cats don't care.
Cats don't care if you're visible.
Yeah.
You are invisible.
Mm-hmm.
So, unless it's dinner time.
But I always thought, very early on, they had found a problem with her power, and I'd never seen it happen again. I was kind of shocked when I saw this.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah,
that's really a brilliant thing. But oh well, I think it's too brilliant. And
well, it's Occam's razor. It's the simplest answer is the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I like Occam's razor.
It's pretty bitchin'.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but I think they got rid of that because then Doctor Doom would have a dog, and then everybody's have a dog. And so then Sue would be useless.
well, yeah, and then it's one time is fine.
Yeah.
Plus, it's the Miracle Man, and who cares?
Yeah.
But if Doctor Doom did that, it's like we want to see all his super sciencey devices.
Yeah.
We want to hear all his monologues.
Yeah. They could have a super dog or something. I don't know. With lasers and all that stuff. I don't know. Oh. So, the Miracle Man turns Sue into his minion.
He hypnotizes her or something, right?
Yeah.
He takes control of her somehow.
Yeah, and then she has her...
Signal the Fantastic Four.
But, yeah, great idea.
Yeah, I want the Fantastic Four to come kick my ass. Great plan. Like, what?
Okay. All right, here's another cool, real thing in here.
Johnny's hanging out with his friends at the malt shop.
Which is kind of bad. I guess they got in an argument and he left. But still, his sister is in the clutches of his super
well, he's a teenager. He's irresponsible. Man, screw her. That kind of thing.
But this is really cool. He's at the malt shop with his friends, and his friends want to join the Fantastic Four. And that's exactly what they would do.
Right?
Hey, come on, man. Let me be.
I can wiggle my ears. I can whistle real good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But that's what and anyone getting famous or powerful or something that had the same thing.
Yeah. You would always have these goofball hangers on, like, ugh, no, you don't get it. But anyway, so Ben and Sue and Johnny go and they confront the Miracle Man.
And the Fantastic Copter.
They do take the Fantastic Copter. Okay. They have a lot of vehicles.
Yeah, they do. They don't have a fantastic car, dude. I mean, or an automobile,
No. But they take the flying bathtub. If you can fly everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, what? I don't understand why the copter is necessary when you have the Fantastic Car. It seems kind of redundant.
I don't know. Helicopters are just they can. Well, all right.
What helicopters can do, the Fantastic Car can do.
Yeah, helicopters are good because they can hover and land in a small area.
So can the Fantastic Car.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of anything else.
See, that's why it's like, why would they even have that?
I mean, it doesn't have any guns on it, which would be useful. Yeah. And the only reason the Army has so many of them is because after World War II, the Air Force separated from the U.S. Army to the Air Force. It used to be Army Air Corps.
Yeah.
And the agreement was signed that the Army cannot have airplanes, fixed-wing airplanes with domes on them. So the Army went to helicopters, which is bad, but oh well. So,
Whatever. Yeah.
yeah.
So they're confronting the Miracle Man.
yeah.
Miracle Man shoots at Reed and he rolls into a ball.
Yeah. And
They get into like a dragster car to chase after Miracle Man, and he's shooting after him and blows out a tire. So Reed turns, rolls around and becomes the tire.
Yeah, that's really Plastic Manny.
It really is.
I love Plastic Man, but it doesn't fit here.
No, and you won't see Reed do goofy stuff like that for much longer.
No.
But it's these early issues,
Yeah. So Johnny makes a huge flash. Why does he do that? He just makes one.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have some kind of blast? I can't figure out what it was.
He can do that Nova Blast. Yeah,
I think this may be the Nova Blast without the name Nova Blast.
I think you're right. It's the beginning of doing that.
So he blinds Miracle Man, who turns out to be a hypnotist.
Yeah, all his miraculous stuff was nothing. He was just tricking people into thinking they saw that stuff.
Well, which is fine, but then you're not going to take over the world with that, or at least... he should have just been stealing from jewelry shops.
Hey, he's not going to take over a McDonald's, okay, with hypnotizing. Well, McDonald's he could take over. But, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's like, this guy is really lame, like Mysterio, who would come later, actually.
Mm-hmm.
If your whole deal is illusions, as soon as somebody knows you use illusions, they know that all your stuff is fake, and they can just beat you up.
Right. And
you're no threat to the same person twice.
Correct.
So.
Yeah.
So he goes to jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they haven't... The Mole Man was a good villain, actually, they haven't met a villain yet that is equal to him. The Mole Man has a lot of minions, but he himself is not a worthy opponent.
Right. These first few issues are like, okay, the Skrulls, it was all trickery. Everything's, the last 2 issues have been like tricks and stuff. Because the Skrulls weren't really all that physically powerful.
Right.
They could shape change, and that was kind of cool. But they were wimps. And they played tricks on the world to think the Fantastic Four was bad.
Right.
And then the Miracle Man.
Clever, too.
Yeah.
Well, this is cool, though. This is the beginning of it's one of the most important comic book series ever, especially the most important Marvel comic, because this is the start of it.
This is the beginning of the Marvel universe, really. They had superhero comics in the Golden Age, Namor and the Torch met each other, and Captain America, but they didn't do a whole lot with that.
Yeah.
And now they're really doing hard continuity or tight continuity, and this interconnected thing, and it starts with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you in the funny pages.